Most people hear the words passive income and immediately imagine easy money. Money that shows up while you sleep. Money that doesn't need effort. Money that feels automatic. And that fantasy is exactly why most people never build real passive income. Because the truth is uncomfortable. Passive income isn't passive in the beginning. It's built actively, with intention. And if you're waiting for a magical opportunity, a secret investment, or a shortcut, you're already losing time. Here's what nobody tells you. The people quietly building passive income in America aren't chasing hacks, they're building systems. Systems that start small, feel slow, and look boring from the outside, but compound into freedom. And today, I'm going to walk you through 5 real passive income directions that everyday Americans actually use. Not influencers pretending to be rich, not lottery fantasies, but practical paths that turn effort into long-term income. And by the end of this video, you'll understand something powerful. Passive income isn't about escaping work, it's about building income that survives without your constant presence. Let's start where most people fail. Expectations. People want passive income to replace their salary immediately. But passive income is not a rescue plan, it's a construction project. And every construction project starts with a foundation: financial discipline. Because passive income doesn't grow in chaos. If your spending controls you, if every dollar disappears, if impulse wins over intention, then no income stream, active or passive, will stick. This is why Americans who succeed financially treat income like fuel, not entertainment. Fuel gets directed, and direction creates momentum. Now let's talk about the first real direction. Direction 1. Asset ownership through investing. This is the quiet giant of passive income. And ironically, it's the one beginners underestimate the most because it doesn't feel exciting. No flashy results, no overnight wins, just slow accumulation. But this is where real wealth begins. When Americans invest, especially into diversified assets, they're not chasing quick profit, they're buying ownership. Ownership in businesses, ownership in growth, ownership in the economy itself. And ownership means participation in progress. Here's what makes this powerful. You're not trading time anymore. You're letting capital work. At first, returns feel small, almost meaningless. A few dollars here, a small percentage there. But compounding is deceptive. It grows quietly until it doesn't. The Americans who build passive income through investing don't obsess over daily fluctuations. They obsess over consistency, automatic contributions, long time horizons, emotional control. Because investing isn't about prediction, it's about patience. And patience converts small contributions into large systems over time. That's the first direction, turning earned money into working money. Not flashy, not dramatic, but brutally effective. Direction 2. Skill-based digital assets. This is where effort transforms into leverage. And it's one of the fastest growing passive income paths because it matches modern reality. Americans who build digital assets understand something critical. You don't need infinite capital, you need scalable effort. A digital asset is something you build once that can be used repeatedly. Education content, templates, creative products, licensable systems. The principle is simple. Instead of selling hours, you sell outcomes, and outcomes scale. The first version takes work, sometimes frustrating work, learning, testing, refining. But once built, distribution costs almost nothing, and that's where passive behavior starts. You're no longer repeating effort, you're multiplying it. This direction teaches a powerful mindset shift. Time is limited, systems are not. Americans succeeding here don't aim for perfection, they aim for functionality. They build something useful, release, learn, improve. Iteration beats hesitation. And over time, these digital assets become income layers, small streams that eventually combine into meaningful flow. What makes this direction attractive is accessibility. You don't need permission, you don't need connections, you need commitment. And commitment compounds just like money. Here's the psychological truth connecting both directions. Passive income grows when behavior becomes intentional. Every dollar invested, every asset built is a vote for future stability. And this is where most people experience resistance, because building passive income doesn't feel dramatic, it feels repetitive. But repetition is where transformation hides. Americans who succeed financially don't chase excitement, they chase systems. And systems reward discipline. As you build these first layers, something subtle changes. Money stops feeling like survival and starts feeling like construction. You're no longer reacting to bills, you're designing income. And that mindset shift is the beginning of financial independence. Because passive income isn't about quitting work, it's about creating options. Options reduce fear, options increase control, and control creates calm. And that calm is what people actually want, not flashy wealth, but predictable security. And security grows from intentional action repeated over time. In the next part, we'll dive into 3 more passive income directions that Americans actively pursue, including ownership systems, automated income structures, and hybrid strategies that blend active effort with passive return. And more importantly, I'll show you how to connect all 5 directions into a personal roadmap, so passive income stops being an idea and becomes a plan.
Now here's where passive income becomes real. Not theory, not motivation, not internet fantasy, but systems. The kind ordinary Americans quietly build while everyone else is waiting for the perfect moment. Because once you understand the first 2 directions, investing and digital leverage, you realize something important. Passive income isn't one stream, it's architecture. And architecture needs layers. Let's move into the 3rd direction, the one most people misunderstand. Direction 3, ownership systems that produce cash flow. This is where passive income stops being abstract and starts feeling tangible. Ownership systems are assets designed to generate recurring value, not because you constantly work them, but because they're structured to operate with minimal intervention. Think about what makes income passive. Predictability, repeatability, delegation. Americans who build ownership systems don't chase complexity. They look for repeatable processes that can run without them being physically present every hour. The key principle here is separation, separating effort from outcome. You build the framework, you design the rules, you set the structure. And once the system is functioning, your role shifts from operator to overseer. That shift is everything, because most people stay stuck in operator mode forever, constantly trading hours for survival. Ownership systems change that relationship. They convert effort into infrastructure. At first, it feels like work, because it is. You're learning how systems behave, you're troubleshooting inefficiencies, you're refining operations, but every improvement reduces dependency on your time. And dependency is the enemy of passive income. Americans who succeed in this direction don't ask, how do I make money today? They ask, how do I make this system pay me repeatedly? That's a different mindset entirely. And once you see income as a system problem instead of a labor problem, everything changes. Direction 4, automation and income loops. This is where modern tools amplify effort. Automation is not about removing humans, it's about removing friction. Friction is what drains energy, attention, and time. And Americans building passive income understand that friction is expensive. Income loops are systems designed to keep working once triggered. You create a process that feeds itself. Acquisition leads to delivery, delivery leads to retention, retention leads to recurring value. Instead of restarting effort every day, the loop continues. The beauty of automation isn't speed, it's consistency. Humans are emotional. Systems are not. Automation reduces hesitation, forgetfulness, and fatigue. It ensures that income-producing behaviors continue even when motivation drops, and motivation always drops. That's why automation matters. People who rely purely on willpower burn out. People who rely on systems compound effort. Americans succeeding in this direction don't automate everything immediately. They identify repeating tasks, the small routines that eat time, and gradually replace manual effort with structured flow. Each automation is like buying back minutes of your life. Minutes turn into hours. Hours turn into capacity, and capacity turns into opportunity. And opportunity is where passive income grows. Because the more capacity you create, the more systems you can build. This is leverage stacking, and leverage is the hidden engine behind financial independence. Direction 5. Hybrid income, blending active effort with passive design. This is the bridge most people need. Pure passive income rarely starts passive. It begins active, intentional effort, but is engineered to become lighter over time. Hybrid income acknowledges reality. You need momentum before you need automation. Americans who master hybrid income don't wait until something becomes passive. They design the exit from day one. They ask, how can this effort become easier next month? Every action is structured with future efficiency in mind. Instead of repeating the same work endlessly, they refine the workflow. Shorten processes, simplify execution, remove unnecessary steps. Each iteration reduces energy cost. Over time, what once required constant input becomes semi-automatic. That's the transition point, when active effort transforms into passive behavior. Hybrid income teaches patience, because you're not chasing instant freedom, you're building a glide path toward it. And glide paths are sustainable. Most people quit because they expect passive income to feel passive immediately. When it doesn't, they assume failure. But Americans who succeed financially understand passive income is engineered, not discovered. You build it deliberately, and deliberate construction always feels slow until the system stabilizes. Then it accelerates. Now here's where everything connects. Passive income directions are not isolated lanes. They're components of a single ecosystem. Investing builds long-term ownership. Digital assets create leverage. Ownership systems generate recurring structure. Automation protects consistency. Hybrid strategies maintain momentum. Together, they form a financial architecture that reduces dependency on your next paycheck. And that's the real goal. Not escape from work, but escape from fragility. Fragility is living in constant reaction. Margin is living with intention. Americans who reach financial stability aren't superheroes. They don't possess secret knowledge. They repeat disciplined behaviors long enough for systems to replace struggle. And systems are patient. They reward consistency more than intensity. This is where beginners get stuck. They look for perfect timing, perfect knowledge, perfect confidence. None of that matters. What matters is beginning construction. Passive income doesn't arrive fully formed. It grows layer by layer, decision by decision, system by system. Start small. Build one loop. Add one asset. Automate one process. Refine one workflow. Each step reduces chaos and increases control. And control changes how money feels. Instead of stress, you experience direction. Instead of urgency, you experience momentum. Momentum is what transforms scattered effort into measurable progress. Now let's talk about the mistakes that destroy passive income before it matures. The biggest mistake is impatience. People want results before systems stabilize. They abandon projects mid-construction and restart endlessly, mistaking motion for progress. Another mistake is complexity addiction. They overbuild, overthink, overcomplicate. Passive income thrives on simplicity, repeatable actions, clear processes, sustainable habits. And the final mistake is emotional decision-making. Fear interrupts momentum. Doubt delays execution. Comparison kills confidence. Americans who succeed financially don't eliminate emotion. They build systems strong enough to outlast it.
Because discipline fades, systems remain. And when systems remain, progress continues, even on bad days. That's the real superpower. Consistency without constant motivation. As your passive income architecture grows, something subtle happens. Money stops feeling temporary. You stop asking, how do I survive this month? And start asking, how do I expand this system? That shift is financial maturity. You're no longer reacting, you're designing. And design creates freedom. Freedom isn't luxury. Freedom is resilience. Resilience means emergencies don't destroy you. Income interruptions don't panic you. Opportunities don't intimidate you. Because your system absorbs shocks. That's what passive income is truly about. Stability through structure. Not flashy success, sustainable control. And when you reach that point, you realize something profound. Passive income didn't change your bank account first. It changed your behavior. And behavior always precedes wealth. So if you remember one thing from this entire journey, let it be this. Passive income is not a shortcut out of work. It's a long-term commitment to building systems that protect your future. Start messy, start small, start imperfect, but start intentionally. Because the people who win financially aren't waiting for permission. They're building architecture while others are chasing inspiration. And architecture always outlasts motivation. That's the difference. And once you understand that, passive income stops being a dream and becomes a plan.